Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey, and today I am bringing you a new fountain design build that we did in Jay's gaming stream. Okay, so the idea of this fountain is I've been wanting to make a fountain that was a big centerpiece, our own creation. I wanted this fountain to be tall, I wanted to come down in different sizes and using the water beds. So I've been working on this design for a little bit, trying to get an inspiration, trying to get something going that will look good, because this is something that we're making. We're not using the big fountain. We gotta utilize our creativity to create something amazing, and that's the goal. So the initial how big it came out to be, so the actual fountain itself is 13 by 13, so that's the square size. So go ahead, grab your tape measure, and depending where you want to put this fountain, don't forget that the fountain itself is 13 by 13. Now, around the fountain, it will be depending how big the plaza area or the park area, depending where you want to put this fountain. The square around it is gonna be your choice, depending how big you wanted it to go. I only have so much space here on this particular build. This fountain, we wanted to put it in front of the town hall, so when you walk out of the town hall, this was going to be one of those visual statement of this town that we're making, because in J-Miss Gaming we are slowly working and building a city core island. So that's the idea. So we went ahead and we went around, we made the square, we did the pattern as you can see that you're following, and then to make it a little more, to add a little more design to the fountain itself, we are going to be using like the staircases, we're going to be using water beds, we're going to be using the new stone lamps, and all of that incorporated is going to give it this big water fountain design. So as you can see, we are using the staircases, and then some of the other pillars, the one in between the staircases, those are going to be a little bit higher. That way, because we're going to be placing some of the stone lamps there. So the next step after that, the best way to approach, at least that I found, was to go ahead and start working on the middle, because we need to figure out the middle, the height of the middle, and we're going to have the very top level, we're going to have kind of like a second and then a third, and then it drops down the water. So the other idea, depending where you're going to be putting, depending how far the water is, you can bring real water, and that will help you put the stone lamps inside the water. But if you're far away, if you're building this in a second level, then you're going to have to use water beds. So that might be one little section of this build that you may not be able to use, is to put the stone lamps, because you cannot put those in water beds. You will have to use real water for that particular point of the design. The rest of the stuff you should be able to do just fine. So if you need to make this fountain and it's not going to be on ground level, it's going to be in a whole different section of your island, you're going to be completely fine. So as you can see, we are working on the middle section here. But before I continue to that, I wanted to see the height, how high these lamps were going to be, so that way I know where I want the middle piece to go. So kind of measuring, I had this idea of using the lily base bushes already planted. So, but you're gonna see some ideas are gonna be evolving as we continue to work, because at one point I felt like it was way too cluttered, so we're gonna expand that, we're gonna rearrange it, and the final product is the most important part. It's just, I do feel like it looks really good, it looks more like a city park, and it just works out great. Okay, so I highlighted where I wanted the stone, the kind of, I call it the stone pillar, but the cement pillars where they're gonna be. So that's why you see the cement, so we kind of know kind of the height. So I'm imagining that where the one at the dirt, just there at the moment, that's where some of the water beds are gonna go, because then that water is gonna fall into the lower. So right over here, I'm bringing this particular point pillar to the highest point in Dinkum at the moment, so I can have the height already made, and then start working my way down. But then I noticed that it was a little too high on the side, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to lower this, because that second tier to the third, they're gonna be a little bit too close together. So we are gonna go ahead and break it down and just lower a little bit. And once I got the height that I really wanted, then I went all the way around, and we're gonna start adding, again, more stone lamps, and we're gonna start adding some of the stairs, so we can start creating that little design. So the same design that we did on the outside base of the fountain, we're gonna use the same design aspect and do it on the inside, you know, and that way when you look from the front, and everything kind of matches, everything kind of flows together, you know. And don't forget, this is a big fountain. This fountain is meant to be a statement. It's meant to be a centerpiece for a town, for a square, for a plaza. And I think that's where we're getting into Dinkum, right? We are building our towns, we are building our cities, we are building our structures, but it does feel like we need to start coming up with new ideas, new ways to add more structure to our islands. And since I started thinking like that, this is one of my first designs. There's gonna be quite a few designs that I have in mind that are stuff like this. There are big centerpieces, there are big sections to fill up in the areas, but more creativity, more uniqueness, something new, something different, you know, utilizing the items that we have in the game. So that's my new goal, is to bring more designs, more aspect of structure, of building, of things that we haven't seen, or if we have seen, how can we make it newer? And that's the goal, right? And the first one that I wanted to do, you know, because is, to me, I love fountains, is this. They're great for city, they're great for town, they fill a lot of space. I love plazas. I mean, I think city plazas, city parks are great, you know, they just look so good, and in real life they're there. You know, you can be in a town, there could be 3-4 parks around that town. And that's my goal. That's my goal, is to create new designs, new ideas that we can bring in Dinkum that you guys can use, and you guys can do your own take and your own twist on it, on this build, and that's what's gonna be great. So okay, so as you've seen, we went ahead and put the water beds, everything is flowing down, everything is cascading down the fountain. Then we put the new fountain there, that's just the little one, all the way around on the bottom of the base, so we can create a little more water movement. Then you saw that I brought the water in from the river. So, and that's the one thing, if you have real water, you can put the stone lamps like this, the way I have it. But if you are in anything higher and you use water beds, that's the one point of this design that you won't be able to do. But trust me, it's gonna look good. You don't have to have these stone lamps in the water like this. So the other thing that I wanted to do, so we can have kind of more like a finish on the middle section of this fountain, I used ramps. So we went ahead and put cement square all the way around, and then we put the ramps, and then it gives you that little feel, that little finish touch, that everything is just, it starts and it goes up. Then the other thing that I wanted to do is I went ahead and I in my version that I have on my island, you know, my test version, I did it, the whole floor on the bottom, I did a cement, right? And it looks good too. But when I was here, I was thinking, you know what? A lot of those fountains, they get a little like that algae, that green, and some, because, you know, they're outdoor and all that, sometimes they're not super clean, super this, and they have that bottom floor. Sometimes it looks a little green. So I wanted to see how that would look with the mossy green path. And I think I liked it. I think I like the aspect of it. I think I like the design of it. And I went ahead and left it like that. And of course, I have Rips here. We had Jackie. We had Jay Miss Gaming here. And nobody said anything wrong. So I went and left it. But again, that's going to be your choice. You can actually put the pearl path if you want. If you want the water to look more blue. You can also just keep doing the cement if you want just the cement to be the main thing, so everything is just all cement, so you can do that, or you can do this, or anything that you want. So I think whatever you do is gonna look really good. So I went ahead and put the greenery around the fountain, right? That was up to there. That was my test build that I had on my island, and I had it up to there. But I knew over here in the stream that we are part of Miss GerseGames, we were going to close this up because this is supposed to be a city plaza style area facing the town hall. So I only had so much space to work with, and I always love when we have challenges like that, because you only have so much limited amount of space to make everything look good. So the first idea that I had is I wanted to see how everything would look with just the ramps and having the dirt kind of come up to see how it feel. But it felt a little bit just too empty in my opinion. It looks good. And if you like the way this looks, keep it. All you need to do is put grass underneath it, and it's gonna look really good because then the ramps will look grass and it will bring that extra greenery. But I wanted to feel like we have some safety, right? Because we got all these roads wrapping around this little plaza, right? We got road facing all four sides. There's gonna be entryways, and the whole time I'm like, you know what? I want this to feel safe. I want this to feel like what I see in real life, you know, is when you're in the middle and there's a lot of cars, there's a lot of streets, a lot of parks have fences to keep everybody safe. So that was my next take. I went ahead and took all the ramps, and I went ahead and put the fences, the iron fence with the hedges. That combination that's always plays out very well with me. I love that combination, and it looked really good here. But before I started doing that, I went ahead and started, you know, putting all the walkway, everything that the cement walkway that I was gonna have in the plaza. And then my initial idea, because I was gonna have a little less space on the outside, is like, what about if I put the benches inside? But the problem with this, that at least for me at the moment, is that it felt too cluttered. It felt everything too tight around the fountain, and I want the fountain to feel more open. Like I want the fountain to be able to breathe, you know, instead of being all this clutter. And then if a person wants to kind of walk up to the fountain, then you cannot really walk up to the fountain, you know. It's like all enclosed, you know. It's all like protected or something like that. So that's something that we're gonna change. And once I change that, everything started to feel better. Everything started moving better. It just felt so much better, more open. So having the fountain, the centerpiece, more open, and then the outside of the plaza having the seating area and the trees and all of that, and everything started just working great. So on the four corners, as you see, in the same ground level as the city plaza, we went ahead and planted 4 jacaranda trees. You know, the new spring trees, when spring comes they turn purple, but throughout the rest of the year they're green. They look really pretty, really nice, and I think it's just something special, right? And they're gonna match what Miss Gaming did on her front of the town hall, because she has been designing her town hall in the front with Jackie. So if you guys want to see that, you guys need to hit the link on the description below, because there'll be Miss Gaming there. At the same time, Rips Gaming has been working on a road as well, and at the end, what he did with the entryway of his highway, guys, you have to also click on the link below on his stream, because there were 2 streams going on at the same time. Miss Gaming, Rips Gaming at the same time, 2 different more point of view of what they were doing, and it was amazing because what they were able to do is just amazing. And you guys know Rips Gaming highways are just so good, especially his entryways are just amazing. But okay, so as you can see here, we went ahead and did the fence. We kind of it's feeling better for me. So now I'm taking a look. I'm looking at it like if I'm coming out of the town hall. The centerpiece looked good, but then I noticed it was a little too dark on the top. So I was like, you know what? What about if I put more lights up here? And that, guys, that did the trick for me. I felt like it was more illuminated. Now I feel like there's a big statement here going on. It looks so good. And I was very happy. But this clutter that I made myself in here, I was like, you know what? We gotta take this out. We're gonna clean this out. It's too cluttered, it's too tight, it just doesn't look good. So we cleaned that out. So I know I need more lighting, and I can only put light in a specific way. I can't do it on the front 2 other entrances. I can only put it on the side. So we're using the street lamps because this is a city core island. That's the whole goal. The whole goal of this island that Miss Gaming is building is city core. So everything has to feel more city than just a normal cottage core town or anything like that. So that's what we're doing. But one thing that I like to do, you know, is I like to combine the jacaranda trees with some greenery at the same time, other type of trees. So what we did, we're gonna plant the blackwood trees in the bottom too, and when everything grows together, in the inside the green is gonna clash with the purple, but from the outside you're gonna have more purple. So I do believe when all that is grown, it's gonna look really good. It's gonna work together very well, and I'm happy to see that. You know, we didn't get to see them bloom and all of that at the end of the video, but I'm hoping as Miss Gaming keeps working on this island, we're gonna be able to see that in her stream. So I think that's gonna be really good. Okay, so the next step was I went ahead and added the benches on the outside, and now everything is truly flowing. I do feel like now this feels more like a park. It really feels like something that I will find in a town, in a city, in my own town that I live in, like something that is just separated from the fountain. You have the space on it, you can walk up to the fountain, you know, if you wanted to see the fountain, and all of that is just working so well. So the next thing was kind of move some of the greenery, right? I wanted to use this right here, this item, and I put him on the side, but I wasn't happy. But by putting it in behind the benches, now that is starting to feel right, you know. And that's what I always say, you know, sometimes you just gotta play around with the items. May not work in one way, you just gotta keep placing items until you feel like, oh, I like this, I like how this looks. And don't forget, guys, we are all different. Something that I do here you guys may not like, but do what you like, you know. That's the best thing about this type of video, this type of designs, you know, is these are just guidelines, you know. This is something that is for you to take inspiration, to try to do if you're stuck, but then you tweak it, you make it your own, you make it your own design. Okay, so what you guys saw me doing there, putting stairs in the inside, is just because on the outside, you could see in between the connections, you can see a little bit of a crack, and then you could see right through it, and that was bothering me. So I went ahead and put more stairs on the inside, in those between corners, and then when you're looking from the outside in, now it's blocked, so you don't see that extra light coming in, like it's just, now it feels sealed. Plus it gave us a little more of design on the inside, and I think that looked really good. I did try ramps, but the ramps do not cover that gap, so that's why I went with stairs. I think ramps would have looked better because it would have been a little more flat, like kind of like cement design, but it did not cover what I wanted to cover. I just wanted to cover those seams that you see of when everything is touching together, but the stairs did the trick, and that's what I went with. And here we are finishing the fencing. You know, I went ahead and took the fencing off, and we went ahead and put the mossy brick path, because it just made the build feel more complete. Instead of having dirt when you go down into the plaza and having that wall of dirt, now it's all green, and this mossy green is such a good color. It goes well with marble, it goes great with cement, it just complements everything so well. And then by adding this fence, it just, guys, it just looks good, you know. You can't go wrong with mossy green and marble, mossy green and cement. It just, everything complements together. And then you guys know one of my favorite items in the game is the bulletin board. You know, bulletin board just gives something extra, something more, you know. And maybe one day we get the same bulletin board but in different design, in different sizes, different coloring, different shape, because if we ever get that, it's gonna look really good. It's gonna be able to let it expand more decorations, more ways to approach the game. But I still wanted something, you know. I still feel like it was a little plain, but maybe I was thinking, you know, what if I do the same idea that I had, but have put a lot less greenery around it, and maybe less tall, just a little lower, and put them again in the corners. And I wanted to see how this feel, you know. And once I did this, and now that the cement is going all the way to the fountain, and adding this little extra greenery, for me, for my vision, for, you know, I go by feeling, and it did make me happy, you know. And I was like, okay, this looks really good. I'm very happy with this. Now it feels like everything is a little more completed. Everything's complementing the fountain. So we have Jackie up there. Jackie went ahead and added one of the extra lights. I wanted to see if Jamie's Gaming liked this idea to add on the very top to have a little bit illumination, and it was with the new flowers you find in the mines. And at night, that looks really good. Jay was really happy. Jackie was awesome. She helped me out so much in this build, especially getting me some material that I was running out. But here we are. We're getting an air view of this fountain, the whole design, the whole sculpture, how you see it, that everything is runs up. We are seeing it at night, the illumination between the bulletin board, between the street lights and the fountain itself, and seeing all this water coming down. You see the water fountains on the side. It's just, everything is, it came out a lot better than I ever expected. This design is now one of my favorites because, you know, it's so original. It's not something that you can just get the item in the game. You just need to build it, and it works. But guys, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you next time. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.